This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Magazine publisher and entrepreneur Judith Mancini is sharing captivating conversations with experts in their field about the latest trends in our ever-changing world to help you become healthy, wealthy, and wise. Judith Mancini today will spark your interest and inspire you to lead your best life ever. And now, here's Judith.
Hello and hola. Welcome to Judith Mancini today. I was just talking to my engineer, the wonderful Juan, and we were discussing traveling these days. It made me remember Mexico and standing in line to go through TSA. And there's ice down there now, not down in Mexico, at the airports and all. We're wondering how long it's going to take to stand in any line. But what it really made me think is, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm missing Mexico. We didn't go last year. And I'm just missing having a great vacation down there. I want to go. I want to go now. I need a little break. Anyway, I'm going to start the show today with some news that's on and is giving me palpitations and sadness and palpitations of my heart and sadness in my heart. One is the death of that wonderful Loyola student. And I am so sorry for the things that the governor, Pritkin, and the sheriff have said and done about this death. It's heartbreaking, and none of this should be happening. And if you can't go into a park at night to try to see the northern lights, it's not safe in this country. And President Trump is doing everything to make us safe again. What this Biden group of people and the other Democrats are doing to people, I don't know why anybody would vote for them. My heart goes out to the family and to all families that are angel parents now because of what has happened by illegal aliens coming into this country. So let's keep them in our hearts and prayers, particularly since Holy Week starts on Thursday, Friday, coming up. Let's say prayers, include them all. It's just tragic. And let me tell you something, when you lose a child, you never get over it, ever, ever. So please keep them in your prayers. I just don't understand what is going on. Shout out to Nick Shirley and his investigating of all the fraud going on everywhere in Minneapolis, Minnesota, all over. Now he's come out to California and he's finding hospice, I guess. He's found out all these fake places that are raking in the dollars. And of course, our great governor, tongue-in-cheek, says that's just false information. Well, I don't think it is. There for a while, people were opening drug rehab places, and I think that was fraught with corruption and fraud also. Something has to be done. And then that brings us to President Trump, who is trying to do something. Like I was listening to the cabinet meeting today. It's still on the television, but I have it turned down so I can talk to all of you. You might want to turn it on. What other president ever allowed you into cabinet meetings and have all the different secretaries speak to their position and to what they're doing for our country. It's fascinating to me. It's up to the minute information about how our government works and how it's helping us. And I got to say, this government, these men and women and our president, they're working very hard and they're accomplishing more than most presidents do an entire term or in a lifetime. I'm sick and tired of the Democrats, and I'm not speaking to the old Democrats that are like John Kennedy, but there aren't any anymore. All it is corruption. Why, in the name of our Savior and God, and I do this respectfully, why would they not sign the bills and carry on? How can they even go to the Capitol with a straight face when there are people who have quit their jobs and they have no paychecks? This is the third paycheck they're missing. They can't feed their kids. They can't feed their wives. They can't feed their siblings. They haven't had a paycheck for 3 weeks. If they're into their savings and their 401ks, and now then, of course, they have a penalty here or there and everywhere, but they don't have enough money for groceries or gas or anything. How would you like to be going to work and trying to sort through hours and hours of people lined up to get onto an airplane and you're not getting paid for it? What is wrong with you people that are Democrats and are not saying something to your representatives? You voted them in, but didn't you vote them in to make our country better because you thought that was what was going to happen? Or is everybody so filled with hate for President Trump that they don't give a blankety blank blank for our country and the people that are our citizens? Should I turn around and go down to Mexico or fly off to Cuba or someplace and try to get back into the country and claim I'm an illegal alien just so I can get some rights? This is what it is, people. It's a farce. It's disgusting. How can you tell your children to respect the government when it's acting like this? And your children are going to school and there's a little boy or a little girl next to them and they're hungry because their parents can't pay for the school lunches anymore, or they can't take their bag or lunchbox or something to school because there's no food in the refrigerator. This is really negligent, hateful, disgusting, petty. I'd like to take Chuck Schumer out to the backyard and get the paddle out and paddle his butt because he's a jerk, because he doesn't care about anybody but himself. What the hell do you think he wants? Does he have grander ideas of becoming president? Give me a break. I don't know that anybody can be elected that is a Democrat, and yet they have high hopes. Well, I'm going to smash their hopes. I'm going to tell all my Democrat friends, if they haven't already decided, excuse me, and of course I have Democrat friends, I don't hate people. I might not talk to them for a while, and they might not talk to me for a while, or maybe we even end the friendship because we have differences. But we don't say horrible things about them. We don't make up stories. And we're not taking paychecks away from people. I know all of you out there are good people. And I know you always help a friend in need. I just know that because I have people who have true heart and they love others. And that's where they've gotten and why they've gotten and how they've gotten so far in their lives, of having wonderful careers, wonderful children, wonderful grandchildren, praying to God, not everybody believes in Christianity the way I do. I know that. But I do believe in God, and I am praying to him to help straighten out this country, because it's the greatest country in the world. And you should be happy you're a citizen and that you can take part in everything here. And by the way, when I first got married to the pilot, and I was a stewardess, we lived in Chicago. That's where I was based. That's where he was based. And I loved Chicago. It was a fun, fun city and a beautiful city, the Lake Michigan and all of that. But it was time to vote. And I had registered to vote. And my ex-husband, my husband back then, was registered to vote also. So we go down to the polling place and they start checking us. And they say to me, "You are not registered to vote. You can't vote." Well, it had said Republican next to my name, and I guess my ex-husband was a Democrat. I would have never married him. I should have known, because he loved to read very liberal news magazines. I should have figured it out. But I was deprived my right to vote. I was registered, and I take it very seriously. And I've told you all how I got involved in politics way back when I was a little girl, and my grandma was having me stuff envelopes and seal them and stamp them and mail them off to support the Republican Party and their candidates. So there I am, thinking, yeah, I've been cheated. I was cheated. And now I listen to people like Pritzker and all that are running these places. Well, Pritzker's not a decent person. For goodness sakes, his family kicked him out of the family, gave him a little bit of money, whatever he was entitled to out of the enormous fortune of the Hyatt hotels. That's the family. The Pritzkers did that, the Hyatt hotels. So, there's a lot of wealth there, and I guess they paid him off and he got out. And why would you elect him? He has no sense. And there goes the governor and the sheriff saying things like the mayor also. Wrong place, wrong time. She shouldn't have been there. Give me a break. It's a public area. It's a public park. And they went to try to see the Northern Lights. Why shouldn't she have been there? It's supposed to be safe. And this guy didn't just shoot her. She turned around and ran, and he shot her several times in the back. It's so horrible. Enough. And that's how Pritzker honored her. And the sheriff goes and gets a big snow removal piece out there and says no more ice on it. These people are nuts. They're nuts in their head. And you people who vote for people like this, you have to be nuts too, because if you're in trouble or you need help, or you called one of your congressmen that's a Democrat and they'll say, "I'm too busy," you'll know why. Okay, so enough telling you should go to church and you should go vote Republican. Sorry. Okay, let's get on here. Here's my next pet peeve. And I didn't start out saying I was going to have my pet peeves on for this show, but it's kind of turning into that. So you'll have to bear with me for a minute. I got into the health thing, the health question, and want to know if you think our health system is really great, or what you would do to change it, and what you think the problems are and all. Now, I have never been one to have to go to doctors all the time, because I've been pretty healthy, because I was raised to eat healthy and exercise, and I have good genes. I have grandmas on both sides who have lived into their hundreds. So I do have good genes, but I wanted to take care of those genes. So I've lived a healthy life. Now, that's not to say I haven't done some things that are no-no, like maybe having one too many glasses of champagne, something like that. But basically, I've led a pretty healthy life. But there's something wrong with our health system, and I'm going to tell you my experience having moved to the Coachella Valley, which is home to all the great music festivals, and Palm Springs, which is a great tourist place and has been for a century or more. And this is the second time I've lived in kind of a resort area. When I was married to my first husband, and after we had our babies, we moved to Lake Tahoe, which is definitely a resort area for skiing and summering. So I'm not opposed to living in a resort area, but we have nothing to do with it. I mean, we don't make our business that way. We don't go to the music festivals because we're too old and they're too expensive, so that kids can't even afford it. Some of these places to get a ticket to go for a concert these days, a couple $1,000s. That's ridiculous. And I know the performers have to pay their crew, get their equipment, transportation, and all that. Everything is so expensive to put things on. They have to charge a lot of money, but it's getting to be sad. But that's not what I'm talking about, okay? I did tell you one time about how they are trying to start in Palm Springs, in the outskirts, a blue zone. And we talked about that. You can go back through the shows on, I guess you could get them on K4HD if you check my site. I don't know. But I know you can get them on YouTube and all, and you can learn about blue zones. That's where people live to be the longest. I'm not so sure you can just build one, but that's what they're trying to do. So my experiences since I lost my son nearly 5 years ago, 5 years in November, I haven't been feeling very well. It's because I have a broken heart. I am convinced of that. It just is a horrible thing, and I'm trying not to get into it. But we moved down here because I wanted to kind of start over without him. My daughter lives in Santa Barbara area, and we go see her and her kids and her husband quite frequently. But it's a 4-hour drive with the traffic now, so now I don't get to see her very often, and I wasn't thinking about that when we moved here. But when I got down here, I could barely get out of bed after we moved, and tried to put the place together so it looked like a home instead of a warehouse. And it's a big job when you're 78, well, 76 at the time. So I just wasn't feeling great. And of course, we had to get new insurance down here. So we did that. And then, of course, because you had the new insurance, they gave you a primary physician. And they basically made you go to this primary physician, and they wanted to know your health background and all. Okay, so you're an insurance company and you're looking into everything. So we did that. Now, once in a while, these are my tendons in my neck because I'm getting old and you can see them. But if I lift my head up, you can see that there are lymph glands or lymph nodes over here on underneath my chin and next to my thyroid, which has slipped down here. And I wonder why. So the doctor that they assigned us, my husband and I went at the same time. First, less than 15 minutes questioning my husband, and less than 10 minutes questioning me. And he fills out these forms for us both to have all of these tests. Well, that's baloney. But then he convinced me that there was something wrong with my lymph nodes. And I said to him, there is nothing wrong with my lymph nodes. This is what's been going on my entire life. It's the way I'm built. It's the way God made me. What are you doing? Okay, it's very damaging to somebody if they do have lymph node or glands problems. And you want to watch that. So he sends me to the local x-ray place. And I wait and wait and wait. I finally get up on the table, and this man walks in, and I swear to God, he was higher than a kite. And he smelled of smoke, which I hate. My husband does that to me once in a while, but he's learned to sit outside, or he's learned to go smoke, put the window down in the car and hang his head out with a cigarette. I can't make him stop. He started smoking when he was like 10 or something. I hate it. Of course, he promised to quit smoking when he married me, but you know how that goes. Okay, so I knew the guy had been smoking. I didn't know what he'd been smoking, but he was higher than a kite. Who knows what he was doing? And he takes my right arm, which has my best blood transportation systems in it, and he can't get the needle in to draw the blood. Are you a phlebotomist? A phlebotomist is somebody who takes your blood, puts it in vials, sends it to the lab. That's what he said to me. I'm going, oh, well, how about trying my other arm? Why I said that, I don't know. Why I didn't get off the table, I don't know. He finally gets it in, and my blood is not running the way it should. It's trickling in, and I had, because of this doctor, I had to have like 10 vials of blood taken. Are you kidding me? I'm a healthy person. Okay, so it comes back, and the results don't say too much. You know, your cholesterol, you're this, you're that. But the doctor, the primary physician, wants me to go. He says, it didn't tell me exactly what's wrong, but it says there's something wrong with your vocal cords. But you need to go to somebody who specializes in lymph nodes and everything. So I make an appointment and I go. Lo and behold, the doctor had just lost his son to leukemia. So we commiserated with each other for a good while. My husband was waiting in the waiting room and getting quite nervous, but I couldn't help it. This man was so distraught. And it was his first day back at work. A doctor, a full-fledged, licensed, educated doctor. And he said, well, why are you even here? Are you not feeling well? I said, no, I feel perfectly fine. I'm just tired. And that's how we had gotten onto the discussion about our sons going to heaven. And he said, well, it says here you have a lymph node problem. I said, well, I really don't. He says, well, I don't see them. Can I push around? And he does. And he goes, I don't feel anything wrong with your lymph nodes. Is this doctor, he wanted to say crazy, but he didn't. He said, the doctor's misinformed. What he saw up here, away from your lymph nodes, were sweat glands. And he said, this happens to people quite frequently when they first move to the desert and they're getting acclimated. Their sweat glands start performing at high speed and they get a little swelling. Okay, so I go home and I look at the blood test and I look at the results from the skin and all on my, excuse me, today, people, I have the painters coming with the condominium and we have a new little girl across the hall and I have to leave the doors open for the painters. So I have a little noise going on. But you've all been around crying babies before, so I'm sure it's okay. She's just wanted a different toy. Okay, so I look at the results of the x-raying and actually I had an MRI. And I look at all of that and I read the report and it goes, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with you except you have a paralyzed vocal cord. What? Well, if all of you have listened to me since I've been down here, I know you've listened to me in different places I've been. you'll notice that I start losing my voice and it gets scratchy like this. It never did before I had that test and what they did to me. And that guy must have put so much nuclear medicine in me. I'm lucky I have any voice. So there is something wrong with our health system in the United States. Now, I complained after I was getting ready to leave that x-ray place. They told me, no, we can't interview him. You can't do this. It will take, okay. That's what they said to me. Doesn't make too much sense, does it? So I asked the primary physician, what's going on here? He says, nothing. I don't see it. What? I have a copy of it. This is what it must have been there before. No, I have other copies of scans of my body for various reasons. My mother was a polio victim. I was. Sometimes I have weak muscles, more so than I would expect. I attribute it to having had the polio virus. So that's why I'm always doing that. And I believe everybody should have a physical or their blood. It would be much better not to go through an entire physical unless you think there's something wrong with you that needs immediate attention or something. So I have this paralyzed vocal cord, and I think I need to have it looked at again and get all my records together and find out what exactly they did and how much nuclear medicine they put in me and why it hit one vocal cord and not another. So that's why I'm asking you today, have you been misdiagnosed on something? Have you... I just noticed I'm on a small screen. One, how come I'm on a small screen? I think you shouldn't go to the doctor all the time because some of these doctors just like to get you a little nervous and have you have another test and maybe prescribe another medication. And I see that a lot. I see some of my girlfriends that are my age and they look good. But they're taking so many pills, it's ridiculous. They take a pill to sleep. Those different things to sleep. They take a pill to wake up in the morning. They take a pill to clear their thinking. They take a pill or something for their digestion. Like Lou's mother, when it was her time to go to heaven. And she lived a nice long life. I can't remember exactly how old she was. But I counted when we went to visit her, and she was still in the assisted living home before she passed away. She had over 10 little bottles of medication next to her. She didn't even know when she was supposed to take them or what they were. And it didn't seem that anybody in the assisted living home actually knew what they were for or when she was to take them either. Of course, sometimes they say take one tablet in the morning before breakfast, wait an hour to eat, that kind of stuff. So I'm questioning all of that. I'm questioning why doctors continuously give you these physicals once a year and always find something else wrong with you, when in actuality, there's nothing wrong with you. That a good walk in the park, oh no, that's where people get shot and killed. A good walk around your block, someplace, get in the sun. Stop this nonsense and stop them assigning doctors to you. We've had to change our insurance a lot because my husband went across the country turning companies around that were failing, and that was his job after he retired from GNC as the CEO. So we've both been in kind of the health business, me with my magazine, the biggest distributed one in the country, Let's Live, which I sold a long time ago, but it's still in my heart. um, it's crazy. So we've had to change Medicare doctors' supplemental insurance to Medicare once we got on it. And we were young enough, we didn't have to right away. But every time you do, you get a new doctor, or he doesn't take the insurance, or they assign you a new primary care or something like that. Makes no rhyme or reason. All they're doing is making sure that they're making money. Maybe there's nothing wrong with you. You know, I do know I have weaker bones from having the polio virus. And so I have had scans for osteoporosis off and on during my life, just to be sure that everything is okay. And now I'm on a quest to build back bone, which I think is an impossibility. I don't see bone growing, so I'm studying all of this right now. But I walk, I exercise lightly, and I'm steady on my feet, so I'm not too worried about a fall. I don't wear 4 or 5 inch heels anymore to go up and down stairs. That's sheer stupidity on your part. Even young girls fall doing things like that. So if you're our age or approaching our age, don't do that. Take care of yourself. So my other problem was when we moved to the Coachella Valley, we had to, of course, change our Medicare supplemental insurance, and we got what we thought was a good one with Aetna down here, and we thought we could choose our own doctors and all, and lo and behold, we got that crazy primary one. But that's okay. We were going to stick with him. I just don't go to him. That's why I stopped, except for a blood test. So the blood labs to make sure everything's functioning correctly. And then, lo and behold, we get a letter this past November, as if November isn't a bad month for me now anyway. And it says, Aetna is canceling all the insurance in the Coachella Valley where you live. We're canceling everyone's insurance who is in this Aetna PPO. That's where you can choose your own doctor. So that means you're paying them more. And I look at my husband and I say, Louis, it's November and they want us to change insurance companies. They're not going to cover us anymore. Well, my husband has a circulation problem. That's his only ailment. He's perfectly healthy every other way, but I have it checked because circulation runs your heart. So I have it checked, and he has an excellent cardiologist down here. But all of a sudden, I have to find us new insurance. Well, what's wrong with Aetna contacting us and everybody else in this PPO, which I'm sure is a great deal because it was good for people of our age? What a mess. So I finally find one, and the insurance company won't approve it. I can't even remember the name of it. Okay, so I get rid of that one. And then we finally got Humana. I know what Humana is. I don't even know what these plans are doing. And if you have to argue with for everyone, I was able to choose our own doctors because we got a PPO, which of course means they take a little more money out of the Social Security check, plus they bill you every month, and then their copays are rather high. But we're covered for emergencies and things like that, and operations and long-term care for something. It's irritating. And what about the people who don't have any insurance? How are they supposed to pay for these things? Does your insurance pay for your children's vaccinations you need to have? I don't know. I don't have any kids that age anymore. I'll tell you, I just think, we do have a great healthcare system in many regards. It's top of the world. Many countries don't even have it for people. If you go to Canada and you want to have something, you can go into their process and wait a couple years before your appointment comes up. I mean, from the United States, you can do that. But even if you live in Canada and you want to get something done, God forbid it would be a life-threatening operation, saving operation, you have to wait months and months. So in some regards, our insurance is pretty good and sometimes it's not. What I want to talk to you now for a couple minutes is alternative health. And all of the alternative health I'm talking about: holistic, integrative, naturopathic. These are people who, some of them have medical degrees and they have gotten out of the regular MD allopathic medicine because they no longer believe in it. Now, sometimes you have to have a regular MD, medical doctor, with medical stream of people. And you need specialists to remove your appendix. You need specialists to attach a limb that came off. You need specialists for burn victims. You need people to help you manage your care if you have cancer. But many of these people have left that field and gone into new careers with some people call it new wave medicine, but it's not really new wave. Different things like the naturopathy and holistic, and I just can't even remember all the names of them, are taking their learnings that they took in medical school and all and tweaking them with this new medicine, integrative medicine and all. And it's not new medicine. Here in the Coachella Valley, which is owned by the Indian tribes, there are a lot of alternative health physicians down here. Not all of them are associated with the Association of Physicians or medical, the AMA, what have you. And they are, of course, licensed to work under something. You can find out all of that yourself. But what is happening is this is spreading all over the country more and more. And it's not new. It's old. The Indian tribes used it. Chinese medicine, Chinese medicinal medicine, medicinal products, allopathic. All of this is not new. This goes back centuries. And they have lots of things to prove it, although they didn't always take care of keeping records of what was going on when they were using them. Now it's sprinkling into the cancer care area. And you can go on social media and see many, many people. Some of them are crying. Some of them are happy. Some of them are begging us to help them with our prayers and attention. And some of them are little children whose parents don't know what to do other than get what we call conventional doctors and therapies in to try to help their children. A lot of the adults have given up or never started chemotherapy. And they've looked at both sides and they've decided to use more natural approaches. And there are people on social media that you can follow. You probably Google it or something and find them sites on social media, on Facebook, etc., that they have told you what they have done to alleviate their cancer, to get rid of it. And it's pretty amazing. There's one man who said he only had a couple months to live when he was diagnosed. And don't quote me on any of this because I can't always remember the exact number of months or what. I read so much and research so much. He decided that he would take care of himself because he didn't want to suffer through the side effects of chemotherapy. And chemotherapy has been used for quite a while now. It was discovered a long time ago, the different chemicals that you can shoot into your body and target maybe your lung cancer or your liver cancer or your stomach, your gut cancer. And it's helped many people. But then it started to be used all over, and nobody wanted to look at alternative methods. It makes you extremely ill. You throw up, you pass out, you can't walk, you can barely talk, you can't sleep. It has many, many side effects. And more often than not, the person passes away within a short time. Now, my thought is if I ever get cancer, right, who knows? Cancer doesn't tell you when it's coming, and it doesn't pick and choose in a very fair way. It just sometimes grows. The ones that get it as babies, I don't understand at all what is going on there. And I think it needs to be investigated now. And so there's this gentleman who got the cancer, and he didn't want to, in his mind, waste the 2 years he had left. So he went down to the river and he swam in the icy cold water in a river. And it just made him feel better. It made him feel like he's living life again. And this was the way he wanted to go and live the rest of his life. So he decided he'd go swim in this cold water every morning. Well, it's well past the 2 months. It's several years. And he's not doing any of what mainstream media and all says is cancer cures and approved by the AMA and this company. You know who is really upset? The people who make the chemotherapy themselves. Now, I'm not telling you not to take chemotherapy. I'm not telling you what to do in my mind to eat healthy. I'm not prescribing anything. I'm just telling you my experiences and my thoughts. And it's pretty sick that I have to say that. SIC, not SICK. Well, that too. That I have to put this disclaimer in here. I am not a medical professional. I do not prescribe anything, and I do not diagnose anything, and I do not cure anything. I am just simply giving you my thoughts. So if I go today to my doctor and I have a blood test and he says, you have cancer of the lymph nodes, what the hell do you think I'm going to do? I doubt that I would even at 78 have him take them out, although I can't say I have a beautiful neck that I don't want to ruin. No, that's a joke. I just don't think I would want to at 78 go through that. But I'll tell you one thing for sure. I am not going to be taking chemotherapy. I will use the cold water in the nearest lake or the nearest river. And we've got them here in California. I will eat a healthier diet. And if it calls that I need to eat kale 10 times a day, I'll eat kale 10 times a day. I will do everything possible to use an alternative method because, quite frankly, I'm scared of chemotherapy. I don't want it. I've seen too many people go through it. One of my dearest friends, it didn't help her at all. And she called me to her bedside when she was passing. And I wondered to myself, What if she hadn't done that chemotherapy? What if she had tried holistic medicine or naturopathy? What if? I know one thing, she wouldn't have suffered as much as she suffered with that damn chemotherapy, and it didn't save her life. So I'm just saying that basically we have a good health organization in the United States, but there's other ways that you should explore. And I think we need to study what to do with these young kids that are getting cancer of the liver and having to have transplants and then having the chemotherapy afterwards. It's just sad. And I urge you, if nothing else, get yourself on the internet and look up these different things. There's a lot of books I'd like you to read. This Dr. Kevin Reese, Reese, and I'm not saying you should go hire him or anything else, but he's written 35 books, and they're small books so that you can absorb them all at once, or you could pick and choose which one. I definitely say read his first 2 books. And he's on social media, and some people think he looks like the mad professor with his curly hair and his beard. I don't normally say anything about other people and their sites or anything, but I've learned a lot. His practice is called, he's not a doctor, he's not a medical doctor, and he tells you that. I think he has a degree in psychiatry or philosophy, one, but maybe both of them, I can't remember. But his first 2 books give you an eye-opening view into alternative medicine as well as allopathic medicine. So go there, you can get them on Amazon, 35 books, but definitely check out the first 2. Do yourself a favor. I don't get paid for saying this to him. I'm just passing on some good information to my friends out there listening to me. I'm going to read all 35 because I think it's great. Oh, by the way, I did get one other one. It's on muscles and bones, because I really screwed up this arm in this area and my elbow by trying to lift. I think I said this on one of my shows. Lift a case of water, and it's not a big one. It's the one from TJ Maxx that Whitecap sells for $3.99, 24 in a case. I tried to put it up on the kitchen counter so I could put it on the shelf, and I twisted my arm the wrong way, and this has been like 6 weeks now. It still hurts. I got his book. It didn't cure me. It told me how your muscles and your bones work together. That's what I needed to know, basically, because I didn't want to go spend hours in an emergency room, and I'm not going to another doctor right now. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you learned something. I hope you take care of yourself and stay healthy. I had a magazine that I published once called Be Healthy. My premier magazine had 1.7 million circulation. And that's actually how I met my husband, was through his company, who gave it to their best clients, GNC. And it was international. I distributed in Hong Kong and China and Mexico. Mexico is a really big client of mine. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to also look at LifeWave, LifeWave//Judith Mancini. Oh, thank you, Juan. It's going across the cryon. And this is phototherapy for all your pains. Yesterday, I burned this finger on a pot. I must have thought I was burning up because I screamed, and my husband said, "What the heck is wrong with you?" I went and I got one of the patches and I put on here. The pain went away in 15 minutes. And I don't even have a blister. Okay, these things are marvelous. I use X39 every day for well-being. I use Eon to keep my racing thoughts and all the things going on in my head to keep me calm. I'm not popping tranquilizers or any of that kind of stuff. I would never do it. But Eon gets those phototherapy into your own genes and it cells, and those then go to your stem cells and stimulate them and helps you heal and helps you have well-being and making you feel better. All righty. Have a really great week. And remember, this is the beginning of Holy Week on Friday, Good Friday, and Monday, Thursday. So you might want to think about praising our Lord who came back to save us. And I wish you a pleasant week. And remember, cherish yesterday, dream tomorrow, and live today. Thank you. And thank you, Juan, for always taking care of me. Bye-bye.